Rhodri.
Is there anything that Lionel Messi is better than you at?
It's opinions. I respect your opinions. Maybe in your opinion Messi is better than me, but in my mind I'm better than him.
I do it again.
Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what. Told you I'ma do me, why you hating on me, it's not adding up. Do roll like a Mack truck, country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold hearted, now I'm back up. Keep it real, I do this once a month, I don't rap much. I just hit the money and go stack up. Only buy car cards, so you tat it up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fault, I done doubled up on the workload. I think I fell in love with the bankroll. Pray up, get money, then we lay low. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up,
Boom.
Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Ace Podcast Nation, the home of Rhodri Giggs on football. We are here tonight for the fast and furious, the brutal honesty, the most honest football show on the internet, as it were. And excuse me, can barely breathe. My chest is all over the place. We'll be talking all things football, mainly the Premier League, Champions League, stuff like that. But we do like to touch on the Championship and stuff like that, especially when Cardiff City absolutely decimates their opposition. It's always a fun time. As usual, I am joined by former Salford City, Bangor City, Aberystwyth Town, FC United. What was that other one you won where you won a league? Mosley.
Two leagues.
Mosley. Mr. Rhodri Giggs, how are you, my friend? You good?
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, you?
Yeah, man. Good. And also, guys, if you want to purchase tickets for the event that me and Andy Campbell are doing in Cardiff in the Rum and Tavern pub, you can see the little QR code right there. There's a couple of tickets left. And also, every Monday in the Rum and Tavern, we have the Cardiff City fan show. So pop on down to join us. Did you point the wrong way then?
Yeah.
It's like backwards, isn't it?
Mind you, that's probably right, isn't it? Look.
Yeah, that's about right. Look. So just as we wait for some of the latecomers and the stragglers and that, it's all good. We'll let's have a look. So we got the Super Six and the Fantasy Charity Leagues updates, just for the weekly updates, let everyone know who's doing what. In the fantasy football, highest scorer this round was 117 points from Sue Coleman, with a new overall leader, Mr. Ollie Rushworth. Myself and Rhodri scored the same this week, but Rodders is still 7 points ahead, just about. And we also had 2 rounds of Super Six this last week. Will's uncle, Colin, came up at top on Saturday. Gwyn Lewis came top midweek. But how's the battle between myself and Rhodri going? Well, I'm running away with it. 10 points clear. I scored a whopping 14 points, which is almost double what Rhodri scored this week, because he only scored a measly 8, and that's all we need to discuss about it.
Yeah, I didn't do Tuesday, did I? Missed out.
It's a results game, mate. Don't want to hear excuses. It's a results game.
No problem. 10. You only got 6 points now.
In fairness, you were miles ahead of me a couple of weeks back, but you bottled it.
I've slipped off the ball a bit. I've concentrated on other things, but it's okay. I'll just go back to focus on this. It's no problem.
Of course, mate. It takes us quite nicely into sort of the comeback story, the rehabilitation, because all I'm reading in the newspapers over the last couple of days is how Harry Maguire has turned his career around. He's now a world-class defender and the rest of it. I want to talk about it because, look, him and Onana have probably rightly taken a lot of stick, because I think both performances probably haven't been great since this season and Maguire going back further. And I think the last 3 games, both of them have been pretty good. pretty good. And obviously, Onana's made it. And I tell you what has gone under the radar, mate, is that penalty save, which is obviously the last kick of the game. Great. But like the quality of the save, mate, that was a really, really top draw penalty save. But Maguire, like, listen, he played well against Sheffield United. He did well against Brentford. He did okay against Copenhagen, scored a great goal, but he also made a couple of mistakes, which very nearly cost United goals. But that's kind of flown under the radar. And I think, look, we've said, me and you have kind of agreed all along that he's a good Premier League defender. He's not like elite. He's not world class, but he's a good Premier League defender. And he's certainly better suited to playing like a deep block and defending his line, stuff like this. Some of the horseshit, mate, I've heard on the radio and in the newspapers this week. It's like he's the second coming of Franz Beckenbauer or something. Like, yes, you know, he played decent. He scored a great goal. Good. And I think what I will say is his attitude to having the captaincy taken off him, to not playing and stuff like that. When you compare it to Sancho, for instance, it's night and day. Like, he's a professional. He's going about his job and he's doing the right things, keeping his mouth shut and just waiting for his opportunity. And now he's got his opportunity for Inges. He's taken it. But I can't have this, like, this narrative that he's, like, playing prime Costa Curta, man. Because, like, he nearly cost United in the first half on Tuesday. And, his Onana saved him. So, I don't know, where do you stand? You watch United more than I do, but like, where do you stand with it? Like, I was never too concerned about Onana. I always thought that he's a quality keeper and he just looks like maybe his confidence has dropped a little bit, but a couple of good games and he'll be fine. Maguire, I think they want to replace, but like, where do you stand on those two in particular, the last couple of games?
We got to look. Well, let's start with Maguire first. You know, he's had a rocky 2 years, a real bad 2 years for the standard he set. He still played for England and done pretty well. For United, he's had a bad 2 years. But what I've seen when he's come back in, he's on the front foot. He's going in with strikers if they go deep, right up against them. I mean, proper on the offensive when he's defending, and he's come away with a goal. So, plus all the stick he's been taking, so it's a good character. He's probably been the best defender of late for United, which, you know, is where we're at. But, you know, you've got to give him credit. He's had a lot of stick. People go over the top, probably saying how bad he is in the last 2 years, which probably overkill. And a bit like now with people saying he's the best, centre half of our time at the minute, which is, overkill as well.
Sorry, mate. Let me interrupt you very quickly. I want to put this to you because I read it earlier and I couldn't believe what I was reading, right? So I slightly disagree with you that I think Maguire, a lot of the criticism has been deserved because I think he has been that poor, particularly last year. However, this commentator today, I'm forgetting his name, I'll see if I can find it now. He said that Martinez is not an upgrade on Maguire and they don't need Martinez, they don't miss him, and basically said that Harry Maguire is more than good enough to be United's first choice centre-back at the left side. Like, is it just me or is that ludicrous statement? Because I think United massively miss Martinez on the ball. Like, he was injured this year. When he
told you, he set a standard where the first 2 years wasn't talking about Harry Maguire. It's only the last 2 years. What I've seen in the last 3 games, like I said, plus he stepped up with a goal, no mistakes, and he stepped up a goal. I've been very impressed with it. Plus when his back's against the wall and United are not playing very well. Mm-hmm. So to keep a clean sheet, to score a goal, it's, you've got to give him credit for it. Do we need Martinez? Yes, of course we do. We need as many defenders as we can. He was very good last year. Something's clearly not right, and that's why he's gone back to having an operation, because it's shown he just didn't look the same player as he was last year. And he was obviously carrying an injury. Onana, I disagree with the penalty, saying it was a very good penalty. If he's diving that side, he's got to save it. And he's dived the right side, so he's got to save it. It's in the middle of that side. It's not in the side netting. and all he's got to do is just put his hand up and save it. That's his job. He should save it. But it's the tension, the time of it. He's had his problems, so he's basically saved United getting 3 points. So it's everything that rolls round to that now. Can they use that as a springboard? We'll just have to wait and see. We'll wait and see now Sunday because we've got United. To City, so it's a big game. But if he comes off and pulls off a man of the match performance, then and Harry Maguire scores a 1-0 win, then now we'll be talking. Then we might get overkill.
Yeah, I think maybe the thing which bugs me is the lack of nuance in like the punditry and the radio and the Sky. It's like players are either the worst or the best. There's no in between. And
there's so much stuff going on now. They just talk so much crap sometimes. I'll go over the same stuff or the same people, the same players, because that gets the most clicks. They're obviously doing it for a reason, and it gets the most phone calls, the most interaction. So they do it for a reason, but it gets pretty tedious and boring. That's why these podcasts, people are listening to more podcasts and going online to listen to more stuff because the mainstream stuff gets a bit boring.
Yeah, and you've got these like all the ex-players. They've all got agendas. They support Liverpool.
All got the mates. Don't want to upset.
Yeah, 100%. And a very interesting one was that had in the newspaper, which we won't name, but also a couple of other papers that United has supposedly been linked with bringing De Gea back on a short-term contract to cover Onana in the way if he goes to the African Cup of Nations, because he misses 8 games basically. I think it is. Like, do you see that as realistic? I don't think that's realistic. I don't think like after the way they treated him, after the way the manager or whoever withdrew the contract that was agreed and stuff like that, I just cannot see him. Why would he want to help him out? But then he's not
helping him out. He's helping himself out as well. He's not going to be doing it for nothing, is he? So if he comes in, if it works for him, great. If it doesn't work and it works for United, great. But if it doesn't work for him, he's not going to go out of his way for United. But if he's here living in Manchester and he's not doing anything, and they ask him, he's 150 grand a week for a few months, why wouldn't you? It's just everything's.
Do they need him though for 8 games? Like,
pardon?
Do they need him for 8 games? Like, if you assume that Onana is going to come
necessarily, back, but you're asking me a question. I'm saying if it's there, it's feasible, it's paid, and it works. Why not?
Yeah, and just lastly on United, mate. Well, not lastly because I do want to just talk about where they stand in the Champions League and stuff. But talk to me a bit about Bobby Charlton, passed away at the weekend. One of the true greats of English football. And in many people's opinion, is the best English footballer to have ever played the game. By all accounts, everything which I've read and heard, and when you hear people talk about him, I've never heard anyone say a bad word about him. Over the years, ever. Speak to as a United fan and someone who's grown up in and around, the United sort of scene and stuff like that. Obviously, your brother's a legend within the club as well. Speak to me a bit about Bobby Charlton and what he means to United and the club and the fans and everything.
I just think he was a great ambassador for the club. Obviously, winning the World Cup with England. Obviously, the plane crash, and how involved he is was he always was with the youth players. The countless things that he did with the players and the young players, always being supportive hand, always being in the change room after the game, talking to the players, and just a massive person at Manchester United, and he'd be sorely missed. But obviously not seeing him for a few years now, because obviously he's had dementia. But he was a big, massive part of the club. There's not many statues outside of the club, but he's one of them that are outside. So he'd be sorely missed, and arguably, yes, he was one of the best players that England's ever. Left foot, right foot, could head the ball, could play, could go box to box, take corners, free kicks, could do everything. So, and he'd had a traumatic plane crash that he nearly died from.
Well, mate, I was going to say is not many people survive plane crashes. One, to be, I think, was he one of? I'm not sure. I don't think he was the only survivor, but one of very few, wasn't he? And I think, like, when you think of the trauma, not just of the things he must have seen, but losing all his teammates, his friends, everything, to be able to come back from that, just to live a happy life and be able to get over that.
It's a long career as well. I remember Ryan breaking his record. I think it was 960 odd games or 950 odd games.
Incredible.
No, it's an incredible amount of games, plus the games he would have played for England. So he played over 1,000 games. So yeah, after all that as well. So yeah, it was a very, very sad day.
Yes,
and you can see the respect with the silence of in Old Trafford. Very rarely, you always get a kid or something in the background. On Tuesday it was immaculate for a minute. You didn't hear a thing. And when they played the bagpipe when they come out, it was
that got me a little bit, mate. I got to say, even not as a United fan, those bagpipes
it reminded me of Matt Busby, and then I was told it was the same geezer, the same bagpipe player who come out to Matt Busby and to Bobby. So yeah, it was. But the silence of the away fans as well was. It did hit you a little bit.
And then, as Reese has just mentioned in the comments, obviously another sad story within football world is Everton chairman Bill Kenwright passed away this week as well. And I know who he is and stuff. Like, I wasn't particularly familiar with him and what he was about, really, but I've read a lot of stories about what absolute top bloke he was, and apparently there's a lot of stories about how he used to message players like individually and encourage them, tell them he was proud of them and stuff like that. Like, he was a real guy who was like all about Everton, really cared about the club. Wasn't one of these owners who just wanted to dip in. And
no, that's why I don't understand why the fans turned him a little bit, because he was Mr. Everton, and all he wanted to do is to make Everton better. And yeah, one of my late friends who died a few years ago, used to know him. He said he was a gentleman. He used to have dinner with him all the time, and he said he was a real gentleman. So yeah, it was it's a shame, really. It's a shame the way he got treated in the end, because, like I say, all he was trying to do is make Everton better.
Yeah, and I think, look, I think in any walk of life, everyone makes mistakes, mate. And I'm sure, he would have admitted that he maybe has made some mistakes along the way. But I think there's no doubt that he was always trying to do what was best for Everton. He doesn't strike me, everything I've read and everything I know about him, that he was like one of these owners who was trying to, make a quick buck. He seemed to be trying to take Everton forward with the new stadium and everything like that. It's sad, mate. It's also for people like us, mate, it's a sign of age when these people who you've kind of grown up with, and seen about the place, seen a part of football, and they're passing away.
You now 51,
41. Mate, you'll always be older than me. That's all you need to know. You just look younger.
Oh,
yeah.
Hey,
coughing lumps, mate.
You go on your beard for Christmas?
Go
on your beard for Christmas, doing your little elf act?
Yeah, I gotta get a little Santa beard going, innit?
It's a few weeks, isn't it? That
she's gonna go full Santa beard.
Right. You've been painting the top half brown and the bottom half's like white and grey.
Yeah, it's beautiful, mate. It's distinguished.
41 got a grey beard. Shocking.
Yeah, grey all over the place. Right, very lastly on United, mate. 3 wins on the bounce. You can't say they've been slick, although I thought they were pretty good against Copenhagen. But you also have to second half. You have to take into account, who they've played in those 3 games, of course. But you also have to take into account that they haven't been able to play their first choice defence for weeks. They haven't been able to play these players. They've just got to, while they've got all these injuries, you just have to grind it out and make sure you're picking up points, innit?
Yeah, and that's what they're doing. No, things aren't given out in October. So even though it's not really looked great, as long as you keep on winning and keep ticking over and not stop the rot like they did when we were getting beat 2-3 on the bounce, that's not a good sign. So, yeah, now we're starting to get some players back. Haaland's got some games under his belt. Still think we're a long way away after spending a few quid. You want your new signings to be coming in and hitting the ground running. They've not done that. Haaland's done okay. Mason Mount, non-existent.
Well, he's not playing, is he? Mount.
Yeah, exactly. So, non-existent. So, and Amrabat, we'll wait to see. So, and Onana, he's done well on Tuesday night. So, hopefully, like I say, we thought it's a springboard to go on. But we'll wait and see. Big Manchester City next week, this week.
Yeah, that's a massive game.
Give them a good hiding and can go into work Monday buzzing. If not, it's going to be a long week.
Well, it's going to be I think with United, it's just about trying to get the players going, like the players like Mount and that, try and get them going now and trying to get the defenders back. Because I'm looking around, I'm seeing teams like Villa, and we've talked about the Villa manager for a while and how he's got them playing. You've got Ollie Watkins, who's a quality striker, and he looks even better under this manager. So I think the top 4 race is not necessarily the traditional sort of 5 or 6 who go for it. I think there's a couple of other teams who might be there or thereabouts. Quick question though on United: is there a reason why Garnacho doesn't play on the right? Because to me, I'm looking at Højlund, and I think one of the reasons, particularly in the Premier League, why his performances aren't matching his goal return, because I think he's done quite well, but he's not getting maybe that many chances. It's the service. And I feel like if you put Garnacho on the right and add him beating the fullback and whipping the ball in, he's going to thrive off that. They have
you put Rashford on the right and Anthony on the left, or Garnacho on the right, because you've got a striker there that wants balls coming into the box, not checking every 2 minutes because they've got to check onto the right foot. It's just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense why they do it, especially when they're type of striker.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. Let's just talk about the Man City game on Saturday. We know it's night and day in terms of long-term quality, like over a season. But on any given day, like United showed last year, they are capable of getting a result against City if things go their way and they do things, the right way. Do you see that there's an opportunity for United to maybe do a bit of smash?
You're at Old Trafford in front of 75,000 people and there's 11 vs 11. So you've always got opportunity. You've got that crowd behind you. So if you get stuck into them and not let them play and get right stuck into him, and I mean proper stuck into him, then we'll see. But if you let them play and just let them do what they do, then we've got no chance.
I'll be really interested how Ten Hag lines up against City on Saturday, because I actually think, if assuming Casemiro's back, which I think he is, I think there's a bit of an opportunity where they could line up with Amrabat and Casemiro for the first time. You could play Bruno in the 10, and then I'd probably go with Mount on the right to really make them difficult to break down, but also all of those players are capable of, if they win the ball back high up, capable of finding a pass and releasing Højlund or Rashford or someone like that. And I think also Mount is capable of putting in some good balls for Højlund. So I'd be kind of interested with what he goes with, because I know McTominay has scored a couple of goals where he started the last couple of games, but when United got the ball, I've not seen a professional footballer hide as much as Scott McTominay does. And what I mean by that is when, say, Amrabat's got the ball or when Maguire's got the ball, McTominay will stand behind the pressing opposition. So he's in a position where he can't receive the ball, and he does it all the time. Whereas Amrabat or Casemiro or whoever will come and, they'll move into the space and they want the ball even in tight areas. And McTominay very often looks like he doesn't want the ball in those areas and he will kind of hide. I've never seen a top level team have a player do that, really. Would you start McTominay against City? Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Interesting. Where would you start him? Just behind Højlund or in the
I don't know, actually, because we need to keep the ball as well, so it's a difficult one. So I probably wouldn't, in this game, I'd play Casemiro and Amrabat and Bruno there.
Interesting. What we'll do predictions at the end. Moving on, Newcastle, Tonali, their star signing, probably their best player this season as well, been banned for 10 months by the Italian Football Federation for breaching betting rules. So what does that mean for Newcastle? I would assume it means he's banned, isn't he? Does that carry over?
No, 10 months, but he can still train with Newcastle.
Right, so he can't play for Newcastle, but he can train, which is different to Tony, because Tony's been banned by the English FA, so he can't train either. Right, got you. I read a story.
He's been banned from Italy.
Yeah, so I read a story this week that apparently Ivan Toney is up for sale in January at a very, very reasonable price, like something like 12 million or something. Would you, if you were United, would you go in for him, even though he hasn't played and trained?
Yeah.
As like a backup for Højlund?
Yeah.
He's better than Martial, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think. Or certainly more consistent.
Yeah, swap him.
That could be a great deal for both teams.
There you go.
Not a bad shot there, mate. Who impressed you in the Premier League over the weekend, or what result? Anything sort of take your eye? As
I can't remember now. He's in the Champions League, hasn't there?
Yeah, let me bring up the results from Saturday now. Tottenham flying high at the top of the league, obviously.
Yeah, Tottenham look good.
West Ham beat Aston Villa beat West
Chelsea
Ham.
looked good until they let Arsenal back in it.
Yeah, that was a weird one, wasn't it? Like I thought Chelsea looked relatively comfortable.
When you off the pitch, you think, how the fuck have we not won that game?
Yeah, I mean Newcastle, another 4-0 victory. You had Villa beat West Ham 4-1.
Newcastle look very good, actually.
Yeah, they have done really. Like the last couple of weeks, they've looked really good. Villa, mate, they just look top.
Yeah, I've just been watching Villa. Yeah, very good. Very good. He's a good manager, mate. He's a good manager.
He is a good manager. And the squad is pretty much the same as when Gerrard had it, isn't it? Like I don't think he's made loads of signings. I mean, probably
Tielemans.
Well, he's fallen out with Tielemans, haven't he?
Can we play tonight?
Yeah, well, he might be. A couple of weeks ago, it was apparently Tielemans was looking for a move. He played on Saturday as well. He got an assist. I don't know, mate. You know what it's like, newspaper talk, innit?
Yeah, you take it like it's gospel, mate.
No,
it's like a pinch of salt. Boom.
It's all a pinch of salt, isn't it?
Yeah.
Until you hear it from the horse's mouth. I don't know. I'm interested. The Premier League, I think, is really interesting this year, and I think it's really tight because Tottenham are top of the league. I think we're all in agreement that we're waiting for them to fall off because that's what they do.
Yeah, but waiting for Leicester to fall off doesn't mean it's going to happen.
And it's, they got a new manager, they got a lot of new players, so it's not the same players who have kind of failed season in, season out. So
Tottenham, they could go and thrive Ivan's only 12 million.
Yeah. Well, I think he'd be a great signing for anyone in the Premier League. I've got to be honest.
Chelsea.
The only ones who I'd say probably wouldn't make sense is Man City because they've got Haaland and they've got Alvarez.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I could see Arsenal, Tottenham, Liverpool, Villa, United, Newcastle. I could see all of those teams benefiting from
Newcastle. They got Isak and Wilson.
Yeah, Callum Wilson won't play a full season though, mate. Unfortunately,
that's when they use Isak. They've done all right so far.
Yeah, no, I agree. Be interesting.
Stockpile players.
No.
Right. You know what I mean? Around 150, 200 grand a week. It's not a fucking championship manager.
Yeah. If Brentford are going to sell him, Tony, in January, why didn't they just
sell him for 12 million? Come on, let's get that right.
Yeah, no, of course, I would expect it to be much more than that. But even, if they do sell him in January, like, why didn't they just sell him, in the summer?
Probably people don't want to buy, pay for someone they can't use.
Well, someone would have come in for him though, wouldn't they? You know,
No.
Someone would have taken a risk.
Wait a minute. You know, it's like you go into a car and say, right, I want to buy that car now, but they say, all right, sweet, yeah, but you can't use it for 8 months. Well, what the fuck am I going to go and buy it now for?
Yeah, you get the jump on the opposite on other people, didn't you?
But why, when the car's still there in 8 months, it's the same car?
Yeah, but if you've got competition to buy that car, then I don't know, it's interesting. And it's going to take him a while as well, isn't it, to get up to speed? Like,
it's going to cost you what, 5-6 million quid for wages just to buy him now?
Just as I see what you're saying.
It's not Championship Manager. Off now.
I tell you what, I'm worried for Burnley, mate. I got to say, I thought they were really poor on Saturday. They lost 3-0 and to Brentford. And I'm looking at it, mate. And at what point, if at all, does Vincent Kompany change from his kind of, you know, his pretty football to try and make him a bit more difficult to beat and set up a bit more traditionally as a promoted team would just try and stay up? Do you think he does, or do you think he will stay?
They're not getting battered, are they?
Well, they lost 3-0 to Brentford on Saturday.
All right, but that's not battered, is it?
What's their goal difference? -16, so they got their second worst goal difference in the league.
I don't see it. This is the way this is the way he wants to play, and that's the way he's going to play.
Yeah, I don't think he'll make a change. They've conceded the most amount of goals, except for Sheffield United. So, look.
So they haven't conceded.
No, they're one goal less. In fairness, I think I look at it and I think we might end up with Sheffield United, Burnley, and Luton being the teams that go down. The only saving grace is it looks like Bournemouth are trying their best to go down as well.
I hope they do. And Gary O'Neill finishes top half.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny, isn't it? Like, Bournemouth got rid of Gary O'Neill. He could end up staying in the Premier League. You look at Tottenham, Harry Kane left. Tottenham is flying on top of the league. Wouldn't it be ironic if Tottenham won the league?
Say again.
It's very interesting.
Say again.
It's just interesting, isn't it, how it could all turn out? Like, Bournemouth sacked Gary O'Neill.
I hope it does turn out like that. And it's the same with Sheffield Wednesday with Darren Moore.
Yeah, 100%. I hope they go down, to be honest, because I thought the way they treated him was well shoddy. On that, Wayne Rooney's already getting booed by Birmingham fans after his second game. Is that a bad sign? Because normally when you lose the fans...
Very bad sign. After 2 games.
Yeah.
It's a bad move, mate. It's a bad move.
Didn't make sense, did it? Because John Eustace was doing a good job.
Yeah, it's a bad move. It very rarely works out, this, when you bring a big name in. And he's not, you know, his CV doesn't jump off the page. Don't get me wrong, his playing career is sterling. But we're not talking about that. And he did an okay job at Derby, which we've talked about. But, you know, this is different now. It's a tough league. And he's come in, and he's not won. I don't think he scored a goal.
No. And he didn't set the world on fire in America either. Didn't do particularly well.
The natives are restless.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is, John Eustace was popular, and I think he was in a good. John Eustace was. They were turning the form. You know, they were in good form, and they're now down to 12th in the league. Lost 2 on the bounce. Haven't scored a goal. It's going to be it's very once you lose the fans and the fans turn, it is always difficult. Now, because it's so early on and he's only 2 games in, if he goes on a run of 3-4 games and, you know, they do a bit better.
Who've you got weekend?
Southampton away, which is not an easy game.
Yeah, so there's no easy games, really, is there?
No, there's not.
They have Cardiff the week after and say that's not an easy game because they're flying this year or doing well. So Leeds, that's a difficult game. Anyone's different. Middlesbrough, they've picked up. Obviously, just played and got beat. So difficult league. This is why I don't think he should have rocked the boat. He's done his groundwork. He's just got to his team that he probably want the way he wants it, and boom, you're out the door. Someone else is in. New ideas, new coaching staff.
And the first thing Rooney did was he changed all the team. He dropped their most informed striker, brought in someone who doesn't score a lot of goals, number 9, and the fans didn't like that. I saw a lot on social media, fans complaining about his starting lineup, and it's just, and the other thing with Eustace is not only was he winning, and he had, they were doing quite well, but he was playing great football, like really attractive football, which the fans obviously embrace, especially when you're winning. And I just think they've made a mistake with it. I just think all parties have kind of.
I don't think he'll last the season.
No, I mean either. I got to be honest. I wouldn't wish anyone to get sacked. I got to say, and I hope. Like I've been banging the drum about the same managers getting the jobs over the years for ages. I want new managers to step up and show they're good enough, but this just didn't feel right in so many aspects. Didn't feel like a good fit. Felt like very disrespectful to John Eustace. Didn't feel like the right place for Rooney to go in at the right time, and it just felt a bit weird. So, maybe he'll turn it around. He's a very, very stubborn guy. Very, he's very mentally strong. So, he'll do his best to turn it around, and the players have got to do their part as well. But like you say, mate, that championship is brutal. Like, you can win, do what Middlesbrough did and win 7 on the bounce, and you go from the bottom 3 to, 9th, or you can lose 3 or 4 on the bounce and be in the bottom half, suddenly thinking about relegation very quickly. It's such a difficult league. And, when you're in bad form, like Birmingham are, can't score goals, the last place you want to go is to a Southampton side who've just been relegated from the Premier League. They're 5th in the league. They're scoring goals, playing well. It's tricky. They haven't lost a game for 5. Like, there's not a game you're looking at going, I think we can. There's 3 points there. But you never know. Like you say, on any given day in the championship, could be anything. I slightly disagree with this point from Reese here. He says, Rooney did a poor job at Derby. First season survived by a point. I think his win record at Derby was 29% and 24% in America. But I think that we discussed before, like the reasons why he did such a good job at Derby was the circumstances that he was under. It would have been much easier for him to walk away, and no one would have really criticised him for it. And he nearly did pull off a miracle. They went down in the end, but only just. And considering the point deduction and stuff like that, I thought he did a pretty good job. I mean, people say that Lampard did a good job with Derby, but he didn't get him promoted. So was his job any better than Rooney's, considering the difficulties that Rooney had with the point deduction and stuff?
I think there's levels to things. Like Pochettino did a great job. He didn't win anything. But where you see like these coaches like Klopp, Mourinho, Pep, they're different levels. And then there's a very good level underneath, and that's where some of these managers are at.
Yeah, fair. I mean, like Lorna's said there, she says Man City did the same. They had Manuel Pellegrini, and they wanted Pep. They moved him out, and obviously it's a different level, but it's the same kind of thing. You might have a manager who's doing well, but if there's another manager, which the owners or
Pep might not have been available at that time.
Yeah,
he was at Bayern Munich, must have just gone up in their year. They might have tried to get him, and all right, we'll get this Pellegrini fella for 2 years, and then we'll grab Pep. Because they look like they're long-term planners then. So maybe that was their plan all along.
Yeah, I don't know. I said the Bournemouth manager, sorry, it's from Reese. He says, Bournemouth owner said that sacking O'Neill was his decision. So if it goes wrong, it's all on him. But he knows it's the right move. And now Bournemouth are bottom with no wins. And they lost to Gary O'Neill's Wolves most recently. And I think, I'm a big fan of Gary O'Neill. I was a big fan of him as a player when he came on loan down to Cardiff. He was excellent. Real quality footballer, like particularly for that level, was really good. And kind of followed him from there, and I think he's a pretty good manager as well by all accounts so far. And Wolves look getting it. They had a bit of a slow start, Wolves did this season, but they're sitting sort of mid-table, won a cup. They haven't lost for 4 games, just picking it up a little bit. Jesus. Newcastle came back down to earth a little bit, mate, in the Champions League. I think they're still in
It was still a good game. It was a good game. It could have gone either way. A draw would have been a fair result, because that was the game that I watched yesterday. It was a good game, back and forth. The post, the bar late on Newcastle. So they were good for a point, but it was still a great win for Dortmund to go away with 1-0 win. And it just opens that group wide open though. Tough game for Net to play Dortmund away though.
Yeah, that league, the group they're in is very difficult, isn't it? But I think they're in a good position, mate. That good start has put them in a good position. It's those home games.
They've got 2 tough away games. They've got Dortmund away and Paris Saint-Germain away. If they get probably Dortmund away, it's probably a good point for them to stop them getting a point, and then beat A.C.E at home, and then it goes on the last game. And Paris Saint-Germain might have already qualified, so you just have to wait and see. But it's a big game in a couple of weeks when they play Dortmund away.
It's interesting. Let's look at the Champions League groups. So Group A is United's group. United obviously not where they'd want to be with only 3 points after 3 games, but I think it's in their hands, isn't it? Because if they beat Copenhagen and Galatasaray away, they're through basically. Because that would take them to 9 points. Obviously, Galatasaray.
Have to win one of them games, mate.
I think they need to win both. I do, mate, because obviously Galatasaray have got 1 point over you, and I think
Galatasaray. If we win out Copenhagen and Bayern Munich beat them, so we'll be 2 points in front of them. Then
but then if Galatasaray beat Copenhagen, then I think you need at least a point. You need 4 points, don't you, from the Galatasaray and Copenhagen game?
I've
really.
just said.
But you never know. Go to Bayern on the last game of the group. Bayern are already going to be through. So, but I think they take great pride in their record is like a record breaking run, isn't it, at the moment? So, Group B.
If we've got to win that last game, then we're in trouble.
Yeah, but I think needing a point from that last game, I think, is doable. It's at Old Trafford, and United have shown, under Ten Hag, that they can win big games. They've beaten Barcelona, they beat Man City.
They were a good team. When I watched them, though, they were a team that could have just gone up a different level.
Yeah, so they never got out of second gear, did they, against United?
We didn't have a full team, so you never know.
Yeah, and look, that's in a few weeks, quite a while from now. You never know. United might have all their defenders back by then, and then it's and this is what I was saying to someone yesterday. If Ten Hag, since he's brought in Onana and Mount and the rest of them, he hasn't been able to select from a full squad. So I don't think anyone knows because he had plans for Kobe Mainoo this year. You could see he was setting something up with him, and then he got this injury. He played 45 minutes for the 19s, was it?
Yeah.
So he's a very good footballer. So it'd be interesting when he gets his full squad and he can pick his favorite 11. It'll be interesting what he goes with, because I think United are really missing Shaw. They're missing Martinez mentality and the way he plays through the lines. I think they're missing Wan-Bissaka when they come up against a good winger and stuff like that. He was very often pockets the wingers and stuff. So, Group B in the Champions League, Arsenal atop of the group with 6. Got Lens on 5, and then Seville and PSV on 2. Looks like Seville might go out and back into the Europa League at this point, mate, which is incredible. They'll go back into the Europa League and go win it.
Probably.
Every year. Arsenal look relatively comfortable, though. Obviously lost 1 game, but they're top of the group. I think you'd expect them to go through, wouldn't you?
Yeah, definitely.
And then obviously the Newcastle group, you got PSG on 6, Dortmund and Newcastle on 4, and Milan on 2. And Milan will be thinking they're not out of it with 3 games to go. If they were to win 3, that takes them to a nice 11 points, probably normally get you through. So no one's out of it in that group. Who do you think will go through from where they are now?
Paris Saint-Germain and one of Newcastle or Dortmund.
You don't think Milan have got a chance?
If they win at home at Paris Saint-Germain, that opens it wide open, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. That's the one that would open it up for everyone, I think, isn't it?
And then Dortmund and Newcastle draw, they'd be both on 5 points. Well, they'll be all on 5 points, and Paris will be on 6. So,
be a close group that would, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Man City are going to run away with their group because they got a very relatively simple group, really, haven't they? Barcelona's an interesting one to me, mate, this year. I look at their squads; they got some real good, young players, and obviously they got the Lewandowskis and whatnot.
Real Madrid.
Well, mate, Jude Bellingham just cannot stop scoring and assisting, can he? Is the thing. How good do you think Jude Bellingham can be over his career? Do you think he can be the best of the best, like Messi, Ronaldo level? Yeah. Not necessarily in
stats. Also in midfield that scores 20, 25 goals a season at Real Madrid. Who does that?
Do you think he's got the ability? He's already scored 11 goals for Madrid.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yes.
He's averaging just under a goal every 90 minutes.
First I've really seen him over the last 3 or 4 weeks, and that England game. Yeah, very, very good.
He averages a goal every 94 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is mental. That's crazy for a midfielder. He's got 3 assists this year, so I'm sure he'd like to maybe bump that up a little bit. But even just everything he creates 2 chances per 90 minutes. I think that's pretty good. And he's so young. That's the thing, isn't it? He's so young. This guy could go on.
Full of energy.
I like that he's got a bit of shithouse about him as well, though. He's quite aggressive and he's got that niggle. Oh, just reminded me of something. Just before the penalty for United on Tuesday, Garnacho was scuffing up the penalty spot. What do you think of that? Is that bad form, or is that just part of being a professional sportsman?
Mate,
any advantage?
Scuffing the penalty spot before I'm going to take it. What's that matter to me?
No, I agree. I just wondered if
putting the ball down, it's still going to be flat on the. What does that matter? It's a bad penalty. It didn't affect his penalty. It was a poor penalty. He's under pressure, and the young kid, to be fair, stepped up. But the keeper, he's gone the right way, and it wasn't in the corner. It was good height for the keeper. But yeah, it's a shit house move. But no, it doesn't really affect the penalty. You just look like a dick doing it.
Yeah. Do you think one of the more experienced players, because of
maybe no one's seen him doing it, mate. He was doing it behind everyone's back, so not people can't see him. Maybe someone will say to him, "Come on, you don't need to doing that."
Do you think one of the more experienced Copenhagen players should have taken the penalty because it was the last kick of the game and there was pressure on it? Do you think one of the more experienced players should have taken that ahead of the kid?
Maybe ever taking a penalty in a penalty shootout of 100 people down is nerve-wracking.
It is, yeah. I missed mine.
75 minute, last kick of the game, and he took a bad penalty. Well, it's not a bad penalty, but
it wasn't terrible.
Right height for the keeper to save, and the keeper saved it.
Yeah, what's happened to Ajax, mate? Honestly, have you seen where they are in terms of the league table and everything?
You sold all the players, no wonder.
It's incredible, mate. But people saying about how far United have dropped off and some other teams, Ajax, I think they're in the bottom half. They were. I'll check now, but they have really kind of they lost 4-0 the other day. They have proper dropped off. What's the Dutch league called? The
Dutch league.
Yeah, it's called Eredivisie or something, isn't it? Okay, right. Very quickly, mate. 7-side derby on the weekend. Bristol City away to Cardiff City.
Cardiff 3-1.
Go on, boys. I'm going with my son. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, you're going
Keeping
over
out
the
of
bridge,
trouble.
yeah.
No, it's in Cardiff, mate.
I was in Cardiff. Oh,
Yeah.
I was going to say you're brave.
I said yesterday, like, that I would really like to see Cardiff get at Bristol early. Ajax are one but bottom.
Yeah, second from bottom.
Yeah. They have got 2 games in hand, so if they were to win that, they'd be 8, 11. They would go up to like 11th, but the 17th of 18 haven't won a game in 7. Oh, they haven't won a game. Oh, they've played 7, won 1 this season. That isn't smelly behaviour.
Smell it.
That manager's going, mate, I would say.
Right, come on then, let's go.
Right, so Cardiff 3-1, you said? Yeah, I'm going to go 3-0 Cardiff. Let's get our predictions up and running. What's the UFC this week, mate? You remember?
It's Tyson and Ngannou, isn't it?
Oh, God, yeah. You going to watch that?
Yeah, why not? I'm going to pay for it.
Are you? It's a novelty, isn't it? Got this thing called a Fire Stick.
No. What are they?
They're almost never used them. Right, Arsenal home to Sheffield United.
Pardon?
Arsenal at home to Sheffield United. I've gone 2-0 Arsenal.
3-0 Arsenal.
Bournemouth, who are second from bottom, playing third from bottom Burnley. I'm going to go with 1-1.
2-1 Burnley.
Ooh. Wolverhampton Wanderers, who we just discussed, home to Newcastle United. I'm going 2-1 Newcastle.
1-0 Wolves.
Ooh, brave. West Ham home to Everton. 1-0 West Ham I got.
Yeah, 2-1 the Hammers.
The Hammers. Liverpool at home to Nottingham Forest.
Oh,
3-1 Liverpool for me.
Four-1.
And then United versus Man City. This is difficult for you because you've got to go with your heart or your head.
Heart. 2-1 United. I want to say 1-0 United, but 2-1.
I'm going to go with...
At Old Trafford.
Yeah, I know. That's what's making me second guess myself. I'm going to go with 2-1 to Man City. I don't know though, mate. I'm not confident in that because I've got a little sneaky feeling that United might pull something off. But
Hoyland.
Not confident. Yeah, wouldn't be surprised, mate. Right. Reese says, strange podcast. There's a few weeks ago, there was a really long cigarette looking like it was being rolled, and now there's talk of this free sport on a Fire Stick. I have no idea what's going on. Yeah, I don't know what you're referring to, I'm afraid. There's a stat for you. Ajax is crazy. They've had more games stopped due to crowd trouble than they've had wins this season.
Who?
Ajax.
There you go. Absolute
Jesus.
hooligans. Hooligans, like Reese. Hooligans.
Ruffians, mate. Ruffians.
Yeah.
Right. That takes us nicely into the weekend. As always, mate, appreciate your time. Good chat. Guys, if you haven't got your tickets, get your tickets. 3rd of November, only £5. Myself and Mr. Andy Campbell, and live question and answer at the Rum and Tavern pub. You can just click that little QR code above Rhodri's head if you'd like. Take you straight to the link. Or the link is also, and he did it again, the link is in the description as well. And of course, we've got the Monday night fan show live from the pub as well. Come join us, come say hello, grab a drink, get involved in the chat. It's always a good time. We'll be back next Thursday.
In a bit,
Until then.